All right, let's bring in Unleash Prosperity co-founder Steve Moore. USMCA, Steve, if we got out of it, and Darren just mentioned we'd still sort of be in it till 2036, but is it a huge risk from your perspective if President Trump said we're done with it? Or is this just a lot of opening round negotiations?
Well, you never know with Donald Trump, do you, exactly where he's headed with this. But look, I've always been in favor of U.S., Canada, Mexico, North America being one large free trade zone. I'm an old Reagan guy, and that was Reagan's vision. And, you know, we have had important trade deals with them over the years. By the way, people need to understand, I was even surprised to learn this myself, that Canada and Mexico are our two largest trading partners, much more than Europe and even China and Japan. So we do want to continue to have, and by the way, it's very important for the U.S. that Mexico maintain itself as a stable economy. So we don't want to see anything happening down south. We'd hate to see Mexico go the way of, say, Cuba. But I think Trump is posturing here. He's very angry at the Canadians for talking about, well, we're just going to trade with China. No, we're not going to go for that. We don't want China sending stuff to Mexico as an intermediary to bring them into the United States.
But Steve, given the fact that China is so aggressively trying to set up trade agreements with all these other nations, that implementing burdensome taxes and costs for moving goods between long-standing trading partners across our own continent, that is detrimental to the economy. And it's not just about making cars. It is about resources that we freely need and use here. And it's not just oil. I think about the lumber from Canada that our housing construction needs here. Yeah.
So we cannot allow Canada, Mexico, or even our supposed European allies to making these trade deals with China, which undermine America's economic and national security concerns. I'm totally with you on that. And I think that's one of the things that's really angered Trump. Why would the Europeans and the Canadians jump in bed with our, the biggest menace on the planet right now, which is China? So I think this is a way of making sure that our free trade deals with some of these other countries aren't abused as a way for China to bring stuff in the United States. That has got to stop.
Let's move on to this. Is the stronger than expected January jobs report, Steve, a sign that the Trump economy and his policies have officially arrived? Listen to the president. He does seem to think so.
The jobs report's amazing in certain ways because we have tremendously fewer federal employees, way down. We had some jobs where you had 10 workers for one job. 10 workers for a job that one person should be doing. And we've gotten rid of a lot of those jobs. And by getting rid of them, these people became available to work in the private sector. So the job numbers are incredible. The financial numbers are beyond belief. Again, they thought it couldn't be done in 4 years, and I did it in 1 year.
All right, Steve, I'm totally with the president on reducing government jobs. Now, I'll throw a little monkey wrench in there. A lot of the jobs that were created were healthcare sector jobs, social assistance jobs. Those are kind of like government adjacent, quasi-government, sometimes actual government jobs. What do you make of that, Steve?
Yeah, especially in Minneapolis, right, where they become just a big welfare state. But listen, Trump is realigning the American economy. You know, I wrote a book with Art Laffer, came out about a year ago, called The Trump Economic Miracle. And guys, this is a miracle. The difference between the economy today versus the slump we were in a year ago. And Dagan, you remember we used to do the jobs reports with Maria, and we'd report on the Biden numbers, and it would always be, 150,000 jobs. Oh, 100,000 are government jobs. We shouldn't even count them. What's happened now is we're downsizing the government, right-sizing the private sector. We are draining the swamp, and I've waited 40 years for this, and I love to see it. Yes, we need government employees, but we don't need 2.5 million of them.
But to Brian's point, roughly half of the healthcare industry is dependent on the government. And
Yeah.
that is the part of the budget that is exploding more than any other part. Just Medicare and Medicaid, it's more than a quarter of the federal budget every year.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that's really happening to rein those costs in. And it will swamp the United States and bankrupt us if we don't get our head around it and our arms around it. Final word.
Are you saying that the Affordable Care Act didn't work? Of course it didn't work.
Oh, by
and
the
we need
way,
to repeal that.
David Axelrod tweeted something about the subsidies. Like, I heard from a friend who knows somebody who lives in Wisconsin that their costs have gone up and they want to start a business because the subsidies went away. And he was trolled and rolled like a cheap stuffed animal over saying that because of all the promises that he and the Obama administration made about the Obamacare bringing costs down. But go ahead.
No, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, Republicans should be really attacking. We need a free enterprise system, right, Brian, in the healthcare industry. It works in every other industry, Brian. Why can't we have free market healthcare?
Okay. Whisper that to the highest places where your whispers go, Steve Moore, and we'll see what can happen about that. Hey, good to see you tonight. Thanks for being with us.
You too.
All
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve.